Welcome back to every stress YouTube channel. In today's class we'll be learning how to make this double inverted pleat design. It's on a round shoulder and it's very beautiful and simple to make. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. This inverted pleat design, I'm working with this patterned fabric. Okay, so the total length that I want to work with is like a double layer. So for the first one I want it to be around 4 inches, and then for the long one I want it to be around 6 inches. That's 2 inches difference including allowance. So I'm going to be measuring 10 inches in all. So from here now I'm measuring 10 inches as the total length that I'm working with, and then I'm marking it. So I'm using a polished fabric for this. You can use scuba if you want it to really stand well, but this fabric is also okay. If the fabric is not so strong, you can also add interfacing to it, so that by the time you finish your plate you can just pop a bead if you don't want it to be looking flat. Well, I'm using a polished fabric, so we'll see what this polish will look like by the time we are done. So this fabric has two patterns actually. So I'm going to be using this pattern for the first part, and then I'm going to use this for the lining. Okay, so both the lining and the main fabric is going to show. That's why I decided to use two different patterns, so that it can give me some form of design. So again, I folded my fabric to a sizable fabric so that you can see what I'm doing well, and then I'm just going to place the one that I already cut, that's the 10 inches, and then use it to cut it, or you can as well just measure out another 10 inches and then you cut it out. So after placing it, I'm going to come in with my scissors again, and then I'm going to cut this. So like I said, you can just use your interfacing to one side if you want. Well, I'm just going to sew this like this. So the total width that I'm working with is around, I'm just using what I have on my fabric, and these are around 36 inches on fold. So that's 72 inches by 10 inches by the time we open it out. So this is a very simple tutorial, and it's especially for beginners. So if you want something to just add to your outfit to make it pop, something simple, this is definitely for you. So now I'm going to place them against each other, right side facing right side, and then I'll go ahead and sew it all around. I want to turn it out. So after sewing it all around, I'm just going to leave a small space maybe on this side for me to turn it out. Then after turning it out, I'm going to give it a good press. So I have sewn it round, and I have this small space to turn it out. So I'll just dip my hand inside, and then I'm going to turn everything out to the right side. So it is ironed now, and you can see how flat it is lying. So like I said, it has like a high-low part. So to guide me in sewing, I'm just going to mark the short part. I want the short part to be around 4 inches. So from this upper part now, I'm going to mark 4 inches all around, and that's going to guide me when I'm going to sew it. So I'll mark 4 and then make it into a straight line. So you can make your marking very faint, because this is the right side of your fabric and you don't want the chalk to stain it, or you just use a pen that you can easily clean off. So I'm marking the 4 inches now all around, and then I'm going to make it into a straight line before I start to make my pleats. Okay, so I have made my markings now. It's very faint because I don't want this to stain my fabric. So now to make my pleats, I want each pleat to be around 33 inches. So by the time I make the pleats, the width of the pleat is going to be 1.5 inches. So if you want yours to be bigger, if you want it to be 4 inches, by the time you fold it you have 2 inches, and if it is 1 inch you mark 2 inches, and then by the time you fold your pleat, the width of your pleat is going to be around 1 inch. So now I'm going to mark my first 3 inches. Okay, and then once I have the 3 inches, you can see me holding on to that place. I'm going to make my fold, and then that's going to leave it as around 1.5 inch for me. So I'm going to hold with my pen. So just watch this carefully. So on that part where I finished the first pleat, which is here, on the wrong side. So on that part I'm going to mark another 3 inches. So you can see where this ends. I'm going to mark another 3 inches, and then I'm going to fold it to stop at that exact point like this, and then I'm going to hold that part as well with my pin. So that's going to form my first pleat. Okay, so this is what we have for the first pleat. Okay, so now for the second pleat, if I turn it to this side, now you can see them facing each other. So now for the second pleat, I'm going to, okay, so for the next one, after laying this pleat, you just measure, I'm just going to be eyeballing it now. So you just measure another 3 inches, and then you fold the pleat. You can see I'm folding my pleat in such a way that I have 1.5 inches here and 1.5 inches on this lower part. Okay, and then I'm going to hold it with my pin. So that's going to be forming my second inverted pleat. On the lower part as well, I'll fold it in such a way that I have 1.5 here and 1.5 here, and then I'm going to hold that as well. So after holding it on the other side, okay, on this side as well, you're going to fold it to meet this last pleat that you have here, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Okay, you can see how I'm folding this. I folded it to meet this piece that I have, 1.5, 1.5, and then I'm going to hold that with a pin as well. So I'll go over to the other side and do the same thing. Where this pleat ends, I'm going to fold another pleat, 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to arrange it well. So now I'm going to use my tape to measure my 1.5 inches so that I can have something accurate. So now I'm using my tape now to check it well so that I can be sure, and then I'm going to take my time. So if you want to use your measurements, it may be a bit time consuming, but it will just guarantee you of having something uniform. So I have 1.5 on the hem as well. I'm going to arrange it well, and then I'm going to hold it with my pin. So now after that, I'll go ahead and make another 1.5 inches here again with my tape. Once I have the 1.5 here, from where this pleat stops, I'll mark 1.5, and then I'm going to fold it in to meet this pleat again. So once I fold it like this, I'm going to hold with my pin, and then I'll go over to the other side and do the same thing. I'll mark from where the first pleat stops. I'm going to mark another 1.5 inches, and then from there I'm going to fold it to meet my pleat. Okay, so after folding it in to meet my pleat, I'm going to hold it with my pin. So now I have 2 inverted pleats. This is the first one. Okay, this is the first one, and this is the second one. So this is how you keep making it. So for the next one again, I'm just going to fold it. Okay, that's how you keep folding it. So I just mark my 1.5 inches again. Okay, so once I have my 1.5 inches, basically what you are doing is the first one, before you fold at all, you make sure that you have enough. That's 1.5 inches. So that 1.5 inches I have here, you are going to pleat on it like this. Okay, 1.5, 1.5, and then you hold it down. So simply put, that is how you can get it easily. So after holding it down, you go over to the hem again. You measure the 1.5, and once you have 1.5 inches, you pleat 1.5 on it, and then you hold that down as well. So that is how you can easily do this. And then once you hold it down, for the one that is going to meet this pleat, you just need to measure 1.5 inches once, and then you fold it on it, and then you bring this out, and then you hold with pin. So I'll go ahead now and do all of this, and then bring it back to show us what we have. Okay, so now I have made several pleats. I have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So for the last one, I just thought to show us, I've pleated the first one. So this is the fabric that I have left, so I'm just going to fold in my 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to find a way to just tuck it in neatly. So I'm just going to fold this in first, and then fold the 1.5 inches. Okay, so you need to tuck it in neatly. Remember I said you're still going to fold this over, so you don't want this tiny part to be showing. That was why whatever it is that is in excess of my 1.5 inches, I'm just going to fold this in first before I fold the 1.5 inches. So all the pleats are formed now, and this is what it looks like on the other side. So now remember the line that we drew earlier, this faint line. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine now and then run a stitch on this line that I have here. So I've gone to run my stitch now. So I'm going to remove all the pins that I used to hold it, because the stitch is just going to hold it in place for you. So I have removed the pins now, and I can see that it is staying in place. So I want to measure what I have now, and I have about 24 inches. So you need to get a fabric that will be enough to go around your shoulder. So if you don't have enough fabric, you can reduce the width of your pleat. Remember I used around 1.5 inches for mine, which consumed more fabric. So if you don't have enough fabric, you can just leave your width at around 1 inch, and that's going to save fabric for you. So this is just going to be enough for just the front. It's not going to go around the shoulder. So now after holding it at that point, the next thing you need to do now is to flip it like this, in such a way that this is going to be resting on the one underneath, and then you can see that it is shorter. So now this is how you are going to place it on your dress. So you can see how it is opening up now because of the pleats that we have there. So you can just hold this by just stop stitching on it. That's if the fabric is too strong and it's not staying low, or you can just tack it down just so that it can just rest on each other. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to go over to the mannequin now and place this on the mannequin so that we can see it well. But just see what my polish gave me. I did not add any interfacing to this, and it's still standing well. So if you know that your fabric is not this stiff, you may need to strengthen it with your interfacing, or you just use a scuba or poly fabric. Because both of the fabric is neat, you can either decide the pattern that you want to be the high or the low. The one I did earlier, I have this as this stripe pattern as the high, while this is the low. So I can also twist it now and then turn it this side. Whichever one you want to work is fine for you. So now I'll take this to the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the mannequin. So you are going to sew it to your dress where you sew it at the middle part. So once you sew it like that, it will naturally fall on its own. You can see how it's falling on the other one, and then you make sure you sew this all around your shoulder. I hope you enjoyed making this simple tutorial with me. If you enjoyed this, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.